Shailesh Bhai, Prabodh Bhai, Dilip, Arvind Bhai and Jitendra Bhai, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm good evening to all of you at IMC. For me, it is always a matter of great privilege and pleasure to be at such eminent events of the Indian Merchants Chamber. When I think of the IMC, I step into a very proud chapter of India's history. For this is one of the oldest industry associations, and this chamber is blessed by none other than the father of our nation, Sri Mahatma Gandhi himself. IMC is an institution that proclaimed and proved that entrepreneurs were an integral part of the nationalist movement. In the decades after independence, IMC has served as an able institutional spokesman for the cause of India's rapid economic development. IMC plays an indispensable role by representing Indian companies on a wide range of matters. It has many, many achievements under its belts. But special among them is the Ladies' Wing and the Young Leaders Forum, both of whom are doing a commendable job inspiring and providing a platform to young men and women. More importantly, it represents the big dreams of the merchants, the business community, and the entrepreneurs of India. My father, Sri Dhirubhai Ambani, was one such dreamer. He came to the city of Mumbai in 1960 with 1,000 rupees in his pocket and an aim to start a company, but a very big dream in his heart. A dream to build India's largest company, and through this company drive the cause of nation building. When I stand here before you, I do so as a proxy of that dream, what ordinary Indians can achieve in one lifetime. And we just finished our AGM yesterday, where Reliance Industries is now nearly 450,000 crores in revenue. And well on its way to touch lives of hundreds of millions of Indians. It is my honor to be addressing all of you today at this AGM. Shailesh Bhai, my warm congratulations to you on your successful tenure as the president of this prestigious institution. You have indeed served it well with dignity and grace. But this evening, I am here because of one special person, and that is Mr. Bhakta. I have to acknowledge him. While we were having tea, he mentioned to me that though he has been trustee of IMC, he has never been president of IMC. And as these are the days of Mahabharata as a serial, he is the Bhishma Pita of IMC. And I think that your counsel, not only at the IMC, but to all of us, is indeed very important, and being here gives me special pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, for somebody who is really given human service, may I please request you to give him a thundering applause. Friends, in 1998, Some of you might not remember, I was a lot younger, and it was 7 years after reform, and I was here at the IMC doing exactly the same thing that I am doing today, and that is addressing an IMC AGM. At that time, my subject, Shailesh Bhai has been kind to me and he's allowed me to speak on whatever I want, but in the 40s you were given a subject, and my subject at that time was India 2020. And I spoke here about my vision of India 2020. As I look back to that day, what strikes me is not how correct I was in my predictions, but how understated my expectations turned out to be. Many of my expectations were met and even exceeded back in 2010. So India achieved what I thought we would achieve by 2020 in 2010. I had said that we are living in a world that is changing at an incredible pace. And indeed, the pace of 2014 is dizzying compared to that of 1998. I had said in 1998 that transparency will become the order of the day and governments will derive power from freely available information. Today, millions post every little detail of their lives on social networks, while governments across the world acknowledge citizens' right to information through various mechanisms, and India itself has got its right to information. I talked about expecting lightning speed of technological transmission in the future, and indeed, the digital space has revolutionized the way people live their lives. All these developments indicate that India's progress is both irrefutable and unstoppable. However, there remain developmental hurdles to overcome. Health, education, infrastructure, employment, and agriculture demand greater attention. Globally, there are even bigger challenges such as geopolitical volatility, climate change, and extremism. Not to mention the technological transformations occurring at the speed of light. Have we thought about how driverless cars, 3D manufacturing printing, and wearable electronics will affect our lives and livelihoods? I find the IMC theme for the year 2013-14, Sustainable Development, not only relevant, but critical to India today. It is time for us to embrace sustainability in the broader context from a people, planet, and prosperity standpoint. One point of view dictates that we have a lot of challenges to overcome in the future. But my point of view is different. By nature, I am an eternal optimist. I believe that achievements are not born out of the dearth of challenges, but by the abundance of challenges. India has an unprecedented chance to convert its many challenges into opportunities across a number of developmental areas. As a democracy of 1.2 billion people, we are a country and a market like no other. Soon, we will be the world's largest nation. A swelling middle class of 400 million hardworking, aspirational people now have solid discretionary income, which draws investment from all over the world. India has the potential to uplift and drive the growth of the entire subcontinent and serve as an inspiration for their growth stories. Although I do not place myself in the youth club anymore, having reached 55, I must say that we literally pulse with energy of our youth. We are the only country in the world that is becoming younger in the next decade as the world grows older. Our pluralist policies ensure tremendous diversity, which is now seen as a key differentiator and advantage. India has untapped potential in virtually every sector in its economy, which encourages entrepreneurship. Who would not want to be part of such a vivid, dynamic, and exuberant growth story? However, for this growth story to be successful, India must remove physical, psychological, and social barriers to future progress. Alongside the new economic model, a knowledge economy requires a new social-based model based on progressive thoughts and equality of opportunity. India should not resist change, but become a change agent. We need a disruptive policy of reforms that are so far-sighted that they are relevant not just for 5 or 10 years, but much beyond that. A vision and an action plan that is regenerative, that revives, renews, and revs up the country. Friends, I strongly think that one unique opportunity for India is to reimagine our future by embracing the digital revolution. And what do I mean by digital revolution? To my mind, this is the defining trend of our generation. This is the defining trend that the first 20 years of the 21st century will see for humanity. And India must embrace this. Let me explain this in my simplistic way to you. In the late 70s and 80s, when I was just graduating, and if some of you remember, television was just introduced into India in the early 70s. And at that time, if somebody had said to us that sitting in your drawing room, you would be able to see in real time anything that happens anywhere in the world. But it seemed like science fiction. It's a reality today. And if I see two big trends, the world is moving from a linear and a local world to a global and an exponential world. So let me explain what local means. And I've just given you the example of saying that now each one of us is connected in a globalized environment. And I think all of us experience the global nature of our world. What's happening in Iraq affects each and every one of us today because our oil prices go up, our inflation goes up, and it affects the poorest person everywhere. So the actions of nearly 6.5 billion people on this world affect each other. And that's the globalization piece. The other piece, which is even more difficult for us to assimilate and understand, is that so far we've used to linearity in thinking. And the linearity in thinking allows us to think about, like when you take, things happen in a linear way. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can take and reach 30. In an exponential world, what happens is everything doubles and things move at a very, very fast pace. And the simplest way to think about it is that if you take 30 steps in a linear world, you will cover 30 meters if each step is 1 meter. In an exponential world, if you take 30 steps, it will be 1 billion meters. And effectively, we have to deal with this exponential world. Most of us are not used to dealing with this exponential world, and digitization of the world allows us to create this new exponential world. If I think about it from a business point of view, in the 90s, 80s, whenever we've grown up, right, the world's largest companies have been in our energy and automobile sector. And if you now look at 2014, 15, the automobile sector no longer occupies the position of pride in the US, right? The top 3 companies which have now more than $500 billion of market cap are Apple, Google, and Facebook. And they are literally less than 10 years old. And that is what exponentiality means. And exponentiality also gives us hope that we can achieve in the next 10 years what we could have not dreamt of achieving in the last 50 years. So, with this exponential growth in the coming decades will continue. Digital devices are finding their design equilibrium and becoming ubiquitous. In the digital world, processing costs are plummeting with cloud technology. Imagine the power of 1 billion connected Indian minds. Imagine the power of smart machines interacting with intelligent people. It will fundamentally redefine the way we live our lives. Friends, the best part is that this is just a beginning. The Internet of Things will make machines intelligent, smarter, and obedient. Anytime, anywhere, anyone, access to information will radically change our lives. I know this is no science fiction. This, I believe, will be achieved in our lifetimes in the next 5 to 10 years. I am programmed to think that nothing is really impossible, but technology is taking us into new realms of possibilities. We just need to infinitely extend our imagination. Friends, when all this becomes real, India will be at the forefront of opportunities. We will not just leapfrog, but pole vault over the rest of the world. America progressed in the 20th century because they built physical roads and highways. India will now progress because of the digital highways. We will need to create employment opportunities for 1 million youngsters every month for the next few years. That's where the promise of the digital revolution comes into play. New business models will emerge that will leverage the opportunities presented by the digital age. The last few decades have shown us the capability of technology to generate exponential business growth, both in terms of economics and social impact. India can become the data center hub of the world. Content is king, and India can become the digital content capital of the world. I have no doubt that India will leverage this unique opportunity to generate unprecedented shared value. Just imagine if we can raise the income of a rural Indian from $2 a day to $10 a day. It will fundamentally transform India. This is possible. Technology will make it possible. But we have to remember that digital is 1 or 0. For every good, there is a potential bad. Technology in the service of humanity and the planet is good. Anything otherwise is bad. We will have to be responsible developers and consumers of technology. India needs to embrace high technology as well as high touch. That is digital together with emotional. All our emotional connections are wireless anyway, aren't they? Including the divine one that we have with God. So our digital world will have to be based on empathy. Empathy allows us to be sensitive to each other's requirements. Empathetic businesses come up with solutions that value inclusion and diversity. Empathy, I believe, makes us human. Friends, I believe for India's progress, the 3 T's are important: technology, talent, and teamwork. I have given you a peek of what lies in store for us with the harnessing of advanced technology. On the talent front, India is emerging as a young, confident nation. Our youngsters are not only asking the right questions, but are also solving the problems with ingenuity. They are becoming part of the solution as opposed to just the problem. They are learning to excel as opposed to just getting educated for jobs. Their ambitions are soaring high. They are unstoppable, and I'm sure they will become unconquerable. When talent meets opportunity, magic happens. India is ready to embrace this talent-driven magic and create a magical future for its people. The third T will be the important enabler of this phenomenon becoming a reality, and that is teamwork. True teamwork, I believe, is based on trust. It is based on shared vision and common goals. It proliferates through collective passion. Indian businesses bring so much to the table. Corporates are replete with world-class leaders, managerial skills, innovations, enterprising spirit, and a risk-taking ability. India is blessed with some of the most creative, innovative thought leaders in its business. The government brings commitment to equity, multi-sectoral coordination, and instrumental infrastructure. Our society is more educated, informed, and interconnected than ever before. Media plays an important role in any democracy. With hundreds of national and regional newspapers and channels, India is a shining example of a free and vibrant media. The only natural step for us is to become one team by establishing strategic and action-oriented partnerships. We must connect the thinkers with the doers, all working towards a shared vision of making India one of the greatest nations. Friends, India has a glorious future. The center of economic growth and development is shifting to Asia. India is at the forefront, leading this shift, and its weight in global economy has increased. Pessimism about India's development is unfounded. We have made tremendous progress in the decades since independence. Considering how large, complex, and dynamic India is, its growth should not be seen as a sprint, but as a marathon instead. Gloom and doom is not a situation, but a mindset. Our economic progress will be fueled by the aspirations of millions of Indians who are dreaming for a better life. The 21st century India is characterized by the aspirations of our youth and rapid pace of socio-economic transformation. This reflects in rising incomes, better education levels, improved lifestyles, and an urge to walk in step with the rest of the world. We will see India become a global power in our lifetime. Our people will have a quality of life comparable with any in the world. When I was at the IMC last time, I noticed a beautiful plaque outside our premises at Churchgate. It quotes Mahatma Gandhi and says, "Peace is the most powerful weapon of mankind." Similarly, economic development and improved quality of life will be the biggest contributors to peace. We must believe in this and be committed to Indian growth and contribute to it in the long run. Optimism about India has never proved unfounded. That our people will have a quality of life comparable with anybody in the world. We must exude positivity about India's progress. We must overcome the negative mindset of the past few years and build a trust among all sections of society. Cynicism and doubt should vanish. Optimism and confidence will prevail, and we together will make this possible. India looks to all of us in the business community with great hopes, and I am sure that we will make her dreams a reality. I am sure that many of you will have similar aspirations. Our collective ambition must be to take India, Indian enterprises, and the Indian economy to the top of the global ladder. We will have to create a new partnership model that puts India first. These partnerships will have to be built on the foundation of unwavering trust. Let us build a grand coalition of all Indians under the auspices of IMC for building a new India today. IMC will have a big role to play in building and nurturing this partnership. A new India that will be built on the foundation of collaboration, not competition. A new India that will usher in an era where India will rightfully occupy its position in the League of Nations. And India will be that role model for the world. Thank you very much.